What's good? I'm Day. I'm on the back patio today because it's hot as hell on the front patio because there is no covering. There's a whole shade system here on the back. So this feels way better. I feel great. Yeah, the phone got too damn hot while I was trying to film this video. 10 minutes in, the phone overheated. Stopped the recording. So, yeah, back here. View is great still on this side, and this side that you can't see right here is majestic. Um, yeah, today I want to discuss what we perceive as bad circumstances from the worst of the worst that could possibly happen to a human being. If they don't die, of course. If you're dead, game is over. But the worst that can happen to somebody who is not dead, um, all the way down to the very normal things that majority of human beings experience that are difficult. Yeah, those things we have the power to view them as bad, and then we have the power to view them as an invitation to a door that allows us to unlock our power, our true power within. What do I mean by that? I'll tell you right now. um when I was younger, I experienced deep depression when I was a kid, from probably the age of like 10, 11, all the way into my adult years, well into my adult years. And depression wasn't something that I just walked around talking to people about, because for the longest, I didn't even know that I was experiencing deep depression. I didn't know that. I just was really sad and really affected by the things in my environment, and the things that happened to me and continue to happen to me. And in hindsight, I understand why I was so sensitive to my environment, the people, the things, the choices people made, just circumstances in general, whether it had to do with somebody else's life or my own. It all affected me. All of it was my life. And it was because on the spectrum of what they call HSP, which is a highly sensitive person, high sensitive persons, um, I am extremely sensitive. I'm extremely sensitive. On that spectrum, you score either a 0, which means you're not highly sensitive, or you score up to a 7 maximum. I score a 6.8. So there's a long list of things that come with that. And one of those things is that I pretty much take in the energy very strongly from my environment. I'm very sensitive to everything that happens around me and to others around me. And everything weighed on me in life. And I felt like I was crazy a lot of times going through things, because I'm like, I know there's people going through harder things. I know there is. But for some reason, when I talk to people about some of these things, when I hint at them, they don't understand what the hell I'm talking about. They don't understand how to give me answers to any of this stuff. And as an adult, I see now that a lot of people in my environment, in the hood, in the ghetto, weren't actually experiencing a lot of the stuff that I was experiencing on the level that I was. Me and my siblings experienced a different level of trauma. And there's other things that people experience that we didn't have to deal with. Um, but at the same time, it just was extremely difficult. And for me, as a highly sensitive person who's observing these things, I very quickly formed deep depression, you know? And a lot of times people think that they're depressed and therefore are a depressed person, but they're just experiencing sadness. They're not actually like really experiencing what it means to suffer from depression. And As somebody who has healed from that long ago, I can tell you now as well that depression is also just a matter of perspective. I didn't take any medicine. I didn't go to any therapy. I didn't do anything to get through this. That does not mean that I didn't have it. You can never take that away. It's not an identity of mine, but I say that because I'm able to help the next person who is depressed if they are willing to hear that the answer is within. The answer is within. You have all the answers that you need. It's a matter of perspective. When you see that the bad that you have experienced and or are experiencing currently is a just an opportunity for you to become somebody who reigns victorious so that you can help somebody else out in the world who's dealing with something just as hard, whether it's the same thing or something else. Things change when you see it from that angle. Things change because you make it not about you anymore and you make it about other people. That's the way that I get through anything in life, anything, any of the hardest challenges that I've ever experienced and that are ahead of me. I will always get through them. I have gotten through them and I will always get through them, no matter what, because of this perspective. So let's say that my biggest fear was to come true, right? This is something that I fear. That my family is obliterated, absolutely slaughtered. Not just they just die. No, they're killed, they're murdered by somebody, some kind of force, some external force. Like the children and women and men are dealing with over in Gaza right now and have been dealing with for a long time. Say that stuff comes true, right? For me and mine. I know without a doubt that I'm going to get through that I am going to persevere. I'm just that tenacious. And it's because I've succeeded before in the past with this same perspective that I'm going to give you here today. I would come out on the other side victorious, even though I don't know right now at this moment what I would do in that moment. I don't know. I don't have the answers to that because it's never happened to me. I've never experienced that level of devastation. I've never had to face that. I would become a whole different person. I would still be me internally, like I would be grounded in the principles that I'm grounded in. That has never left and that never will leave. However, my circumstances have altered me in many different ways, and I allow it to. It's supposed to, I believe. But there's a choice. It can either alter you and it can alter you for the worse because you're not seeing it the way that you're not seeing it from another angle that could allow you to help you and other people. And then the other side is the exact opposite, and you can help you and other people. The bad circumstances are a teacher. They're a great teacher. It doesn't mean that it's right what happened to you. It doesn't mean that it's fair. It doesn't mean any of those things. In fact, a lot of times it is bad and it's not fair. It's horrible, especially if you're a victim and somebody else is the perpetrator involved. You know, people rape people all the time. People murder people's loved ones all the time. People do horrible things to people all the time. So therefore, we're not going to sit here and act like people aren't victims and don't deserve justice. People deserve immediate justice. They just do. And oppressors deserve immediate punishment. I believe in revenge. So I'm not the guy that's gonna sit here and tell you like, yeah, let's just be patient and it's like it was all for it was all for good. No, it's not. A lot of it is bad. A lot of it's bad and ruined lives along the way. But we can't sit there. That's my point, is that we can't sit there. I mean, you have the option to, but what good does that do for you or anybody else? Because what people are looking for out in this world is hope. And not just false hope. They're looking for like real answers that they can utilize in order to change their life, to shift their perspective, turn the other way, do a 180 and march forward, right? They're looking for light in the darkness, and you can be that light for somebody. All the things that I experienced, I used to complain about the whole way through. I used to complain. And then one day I woke up and I just stopped complaining about them. Because I guess I just realized, like, this is up to me. Nobody's coming to save me from this stuff. Nobody's coming to save me from this stuff, and nobody has the answers that I really need out here in my life personally. It doesn't mean that nobody did. It's just in my life, I had to be my own teacher by going within. And I also had to observe life and observe other people's life and avoid the mistakes that they made that landed them in a pit. And that was my greatest teacher because I was somebody who was stepping back to observe my surroundings and make sense of them by going within and talking to myself. That's all I did. And it got me far. And so every time a new circumstance would arrive that I perceived as bad because a lot of negative shit happened with it or was attached to it, I started to overcome those things very swiftly. And so now you could put me through anything because I understand exactly how to approach it. And now I'm qualified to step into rooms where people are looking for hope. And I am that. I am that for them because I just quickly tell them exactly what the hell I've been through, especially if they already are addressing the topic and they're telling their story. That's like it's easy. At that point I know how to talk to you because I see exactly what you need. I see exactly what you need. I hear it. And if I don't, because I'm not qualified, I shut the hell up and I just listen so that I can observe and apply it to my life for the future. I only talk about what I know about, what I've been through, and I give that to people. And a lot of times, the rooms that I step in, a lot of times, somebody really, really needed it. Somebody, multiple people really needed it because I have a different perspective on this stuff. We're not going to sit around crying about this shit all day. I start out with the empathy. I hear your story. I empathize with it 100%. I'm an HSP. Again, I feel it. I actually feel it. I do on a deep level. And the people know I can feel it because of the words that I convey when I start off. And then we get to the solution. The solution is you. And nobody ever tells people that. They tell them the solution is some God in the sky, like I used to believe in. But waiting on that phone call or waiting for that arrival, it's never gonna happen. It's like waiting on Santa Claus, bro. Shit, we could say Santa is more real than that. At least the nigga shows up and does the same thing every year in multiple parts of the world. The nigga is still gonna be at the mall and take pictures with your kids and shit. You feel me? You at least get that. With this God character, you don't get anything. And it's because people are pointing you to something out there when it's in here. It's in here. I'm not an atheist because I believe that I am God and that you are too. So I can't be because I believe there's a God. I just believe in it from a different angle, right? I just do. I have come to find way after ridding the idea of an external force from my life, the concept of an external force that's a higher power that's here to be my everything. Once I got rid of that, my life started to get even better. Even better. Because I'm not dependent. I'm not dependent. I'm independent. So I go, I seek answers from life, and then I go again, but I go within. That's all you have to do. That's all you have to do in order to make sense of all this shit that you perceive as bad in your life. From your childhood trauma all the way up to now. It all is for a purpose. It's for the purpose of bettering humanity. See, the problem is that most people are not thinking about other people. They're only thinking about how to make their little world better. That's not the answer. The answer is, how do I get better for the world? Once you shift your perspective, just a little tweak. Once you do that, life changes dramatically for you in a positive way. It does. If my wife and child were to be slaughtered by some external force, some oppressor, I know that there's a group of people who are experiencing the same thing or have experienced the same thing that have not made it to the other side. So it's my job to go forward and do whatever I have to do, put in whatever work I have to put in internally and externally sometimes. You have to physically do things sometimes to get through that. And once I get through that, I can see, I always, no matter how dark it is, I know that there is a hill for me to climb, and I'll be able to speak to a bunch of people and they'll be able to clearly hear me and they will say, I want that for myself. Not everybody's going to want it, but there's going to be a group of people who are sick of feeling the way that they do. They're sick of dealing with the torment of feeling this way due to this circumstance, due to the perspective that they have around this circumstance that they've experienced. So now I'm the person who can shed light on that and I can help change their life. Wow. Me? So everything that I've gone through, I will go through again. And if there's a next life for me and I get the option to choose an even more difficult life and I have this current perspective that I do right now, or an even more mature perspective than I have right now, I'm most likely going to choose the more difficult path because there's a lot to learn. There's a lot to learn and there's nothing like learning. Because what learning does is it allows you to be, again, better for other people because you now have the information that you need. You have the experience and the information that you need that qualifies you to be able to speak to people and for them to actually hear you and listen. They're forced to because of what you've been through. We're looking for answers. We're looking for guidance, and the world is silent around us a lot of time in our own lives because the people around us that have gone through things and are going through things are just complaining. They're just complaining. They're just defeated. My mother spiraled into a deep depression later on in her life, in her mid 40s, and took herself out the game completely because she couldn't take anymore. She couldn't take any more of herself and how she was perceiving life. And she said, this is it. And she did it very selfishly. She did it in a very selfish manner. And I could never look to this person for guidance on my journey when I was going through my pains. I remember I would actually talk to her sometimes and try to get, some kind of counsel. And she just was not qualified in many of those conversations to give me any guidance because she didn't fight through those things. And eventually, too many of them piled up on top of each other, those circumstances. And she just got tired. That's what a lot of people say that are extremely depressed and are at the end. They say, I'm just tired. They're giving up. It's a lot of people like that in my family that have given up because they were just too damn tired. And I just realized I can't be like that because there's a whole group of other people who, one, love you. So you make their life extremely difficult when you tap out. And then two, there's so many people that were waiting on you to become who you were supposed to become. And you never became it. They were waiting on you to become who you're supposed to become because you were the person that was qualified or supposed to be qualified to help them. And you gave up. You gave up. And it's crazy because this shit is not hard. It seems hard at first when you don't have the answers. But when you have this perspective that I have now, anything that you go through is very simple at its core. The circumstance and experiencing the physical manifestation of the devastation of the circumstance it's not simple. It's painful. It is. But either way, you're going to go through it. Whether you choose to do something about it or not, you're going to go through it, right? That's why the people like my mother take themselves out of the game. That's why they off themselves, because it's so difficult. She was experiencing it. So we're either going to experience it and just let it beat us down to the end, or we're going to experience it just as much, but we're going to get through it. It's far more beneficial for you and for others to just get through it. Some things take longer than others. It all depends on the circumstance. But really, things change so swiftly once you grasp this perspective that I'm talking about. And this perspective that I'm talking about is unique based off of every experience. So even though I know what I'm saying right now, the next time that I experience something major in my life that's very, very, very difficult, that other people have been defeated by, I will have to wrestle with this perspective based on that unique circumstance. Even though I'm here talking to you about it right now, I'll have to revisit this perspective and try to figure out a way to apply it to that circumstance. But I will find the key. And once you find the key and it clicks, once you turn it and the door opens, it never closes again. You are through the door now. And now everything is uphill. And it doesn't even feel uphill because uphill is difficult. It really is like downhill. It's smooth. It's smooth. It's like you climbed up the hill to get to the door, and then once you opened it, smooth sail down. That's how it is every single time. It's all a matter of perspective. Everything is perspective. I love that about life. I really do. Life is such a great teacher, but you have to be paying attention. You have to be aware in general of your environment, everything external that you're able to perceive with your five senses. And then you have to be self-aware. You have to know who you are. You have to know who you are and what your role is in this life. You have to see things from multiple angles as the observer so that you can make sense of a lot of these things that don't seem to make sense on the surface in the moment. I promise you, stick around long enough, you obtain the right perspective, they will make sense. Everything that I've been through, again, everything that I have been through, all the tragedies I've been through, they all make perfect sense. I'm so qualified now. I step into rooms and I have these powers that are immediately activated. And people see them, they hear them, they sense them 100%. They listen. That's why I created a YouTube channel, not just to talk. You know, I've done multiple videos, I've had multiple pages, I've gotten views here and there, but that was me like learning how to do this stuff. Now I'm here as the person who is the guide. I'm not the answer. I'm just the guide, and I'm pointing you in the right direction. And the direction is always you. I point back to you. I hold up a mirror and I say, you're the answer, bro. And we unpack it. So, I hope this channel is so far bringing you some serious enlightenment on your journey. That's all that I'm here for. You are the source. You are the source. You are the sky. You are the sky. I'll say this so many times. The weather, it's bound to change. It always fluctuates. One day it's clear, the next day it's gloomy. Sometimes the weather is extremely harsh, right? We have severe weather in many parts of the world. So you can be experiencing a bright, beautiful day like this, and then next thing you know, tomorrow there can be a tornado, or next season there could be a tornado or a hurricane or something, and it's just scary outside, right? But above the clouds at all times, no matter how devastating the weather is, the sky looks like this. It's just clear and blue and beautiful. Your perspective has to be elevated above those clouds because your circumstances and the thoughts that arise during your time of dealing with those circumstances, they're just the weather. They're just a thing that's passing through, no matter how devastating. Above it is the sky that looks just like this. You ascend past a tornado, the sky, the clouds, when a tornado is there on, below, you'll see this sky, this beautiful sky. Whether it's daytime or nighttime, it's the same thing, same shit. The sun is the only thing manipulating the way it looks. At night it's darker, in the daytime it's brighter, duh. But it's always the same. The sky is always the same, right? Well, guess what? You're not the weather, you're the sky. You're always the same. Inside, you're always the same. The person that was here before you even arrived in this life physically, the person that's within, and after your death, and all in between, that person does not die. You are energy. You're energy. Energy is neither created or destroyed. It just is. You are the energy that is very, very, what's the word? Similar to the sky. You are that. You just never change. So don't attach your identity to the thoughts that you're having. Don't attach your identity to the bad weather. Don't attach your identity to the circumstance. I used to do that when I was younger. I used to give myself titles and all kind of shit based off of the things that I went through and was going through. No, bro, I'm the sky. I always have been. And once I tapped back into that identity, things clicked and my life changed forever. Changed forever. So I'm always that. No matter what I'm going through, I just remind myself, I'm good. I'm the sky. I never change. We're just experiencing some bad weather, some turbulence on a lower level. Mentally, I'm able, within an instant, to ascend above that weather. And you are too. I'm here for you. No matter what you're going through, I'm here. No matter what you are, male, female, child, no matter where you're from, no matter what part of the world you're in, no matter what your color is, I'm here for you. I got you. Come to this channel and you can always be comforted because I went through a lot. I've experienced so much pain and I made it. And I empathize heavily with whatever you're going through. Even if I've never been through that exact same thing, I've experienced very similar, if not the same, feelings that you've experienced. Go be the greatest version of yourself. That's what self-actualizing is. Realizing who you are so that you can look back in your reflection and make the proper adjustments to it so that you can transform this character that is before you into something so beautiful that the world has no choice but to look at you and also see themselves as well so that they can make changes. That's what it is. Yeah, that's it. I'm out.